Your threat to enemy, Libs in panic mode, they won't be. Each U.S. government official in past years has taken in this: if there's a war of words, Trump will win. Furthermore, if there's a real war, the U.S. will win. That is quite recently straightforward math. Yet, war kills. So how would we avoid it with words? Each liberal will disclose to you that you work to pacify your adversary. Trump isn't doing that. Truth be told, he quite recently debilitated to devastate North Korea. Furthermore, it might well keep war from happening. Via IJR. President Donald Trump capped a long day of threats between the U.S. and North Korea by issuing one to the nation's foreign minister that the country is sure not to forget. Approaching midnight on Saturday, the president made an alarming threat to North Korea, doubling down on insulting the nation's leader Kim Jong-un. Trump not only called Kim Jong-un Rocket Man, a phrase he's used lately to describe the dictator, but he added the epithet little. It ought to be evident to the world at this point Trump talks his mind. Thing is, so does Kim Jong-un. What's more, the two leaders are pulling no verbal punches. Mr. Trump's insults make our rocket's visit to the entire U.S. mainland inevitable all the more, North Korean Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho. Presently, you can most likely envision exactly how much frenzy this little trade caused. Twitter exploded. The web exploded. Each liberal, and a few conservatives, just went crazy. Be that as it may, I will let you know not to freeze. Here's the reason. To begin with, take note of that North Korean's foreign minister didn't influence his rocket's visit risk from a protected place. He was in New York City. As a feature of the United Nations, as you may already know. It's not likely that a North Korean diplomat will be in the U.S. when a bomb goes off. Particularly not when he's enlightening individuals all regarding it. It's significantly more probable that North Korea is doing what individuals specialize in before the United Nations: put on a decent show. Make it strong, egotistical, and brave. Yet bear in mind, you don't need to move down any of it. On the off chance that you question me, recollect this is practically exactly how the UN has been utilized by real despots previously. All things considered, they let this person talk constantly. Also, nobody could comprehend what on the planet he was discussing. Certainty is, as odd as it sounds, inasmuch as the two leaders are making enormous dangers, it's not likely that something will happen. It's the point at which the dangers go that we need to stress. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. HTIJR. Mind-boggling numbers. The Clinton Foundation just got busted. At the point when a great many people consider criminal corruption, they frequently consider decrepit lawbreakers in the underbelly of the major cities. The Clinton Foundation is the ideal case of an association that sets up a superb front. Most Democrats will cheerfully toss their cash at fizzled presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's charity. Tax records from 2014 uncover a startling pattern. In any case, the establishment got $177 million in contributions, yet just gave $5 million to genuine charities, as per Powder at wigsociety.com. The numbers are practically mind-boggling when you take a gander at the records for yourself. As you leaf through the 65 pages of government return material, you can't resist the urge to think about how the foundation's conduct didn't arrive one of the Clintons specifically in jail. Hillary, Bill, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation spent about $86 million of the $177 million they got on expenses. It is not clear what these expenses were, as they were recorded as magnanimous giving in the official archives. The $5 million donated, when contrasted with the $177 million received, implies that Hillary and friends spent an unimportant 2% of their donations on charities, that is out of all funds received. On the off chance that a special examination is to result, for what reason don't we have one that investigates where the majority of this messy Clinton cash went? Most likely, costs can't be high to the point that the Clintons couldn't bear the cost of 5%, not that it'd be greatly improved. As indicated by the records, the organization's mission or most significant activities incorporate objectives, for example, the desire to improve global health and wellness, increase opportunity for women, girls, reduce childhood obesity, create economic OPP and growth, and help communities address effects of climate change. Things get more unusual when you take a gander at line 5 of the tax record. It says that there were 486 individuals utilized by the Clinton Foundation who were paid an aggregate of $34.8 million. At that point, there is a posting of $86.1 million in fees and costs. The last outcome is $5.1 million for the charities. Did it truly take 486 individuals 7 times the measure of cash gave just to give $5 million? We as a whole know the genuine response to this inquiry. It has been clear for a considerable length of time that the Clintons have been working a pay-to-play conspire that loans out the political impact to the individuals who have the cash to pay for security, and they do it mafia style. An open examination concerning the donors, the cash got, and obviously, the Clintons should be enacted as quickly as time permits. On the off chance that you haven't seen, all discussion of the Clinton Foundation stopped after Hillary bombarded in the 2016 election. The Clinton family and their foundation seems, by all accounts, to be a hotbed of criminal activity. To what extent before they start up the business again and take millions from Democrats that basically go towards the Clinton war machine? What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. HTCNA. Major announcement. General Mad Dog Mattis to all Americans: Obama lied to you, but now I'm going to tell you the truth. Obama may never again be in the White House, yet his policies are as yet harming America. It appears we can't go 7 days without some new disclosure about the hidden policies and plans he set up before skipping out the front door. One of the numerous things the president unrightfully did while in office took credit for things he had close to nothing or nothing to do with. The most shocking of these is likely the troop drawdown from Iraq and Afghanistan, which was at that point arranged under Bush, however, exploited by Obama. While he got praises for bringing the troops home, the failure-in-chief likewise sent a dreadful part of those young men once again into the Middle Eastern sandbox a couple of years after the fact. Yet, since he isn't the sort to invite scrutiny, he did as such discreetly and with some basic number fudging, a principal highlight of his administration. Presently, in front of Trump's decision to raise the U.S. war in Afghanistan, it has been uncovered exactly how much the president underreported troop levels in the area. As detailed at the Daily Caller, the Pentagon uncovered Wednesday, at the heading of Secretary of Defense James Mattis, there are roughly 11,000 U.S. service members in Afghanistan. Before this declaration, the Pentagon would just ever admit to there being 8,400 troops there under force management in light of orders from the Obama administration. Pentagon Chief Spokesperson Dana W. White and Joint Staff Director Lieutenant General Kenneth F. McKenzie Jr. emphasized the Obama time policy influenced combat readiness in Afghanistan and did not advise every bit of relevant information with regards to the quantity of U.S. forces in Afghanistan to the American individuals. I'm certain you'll see CNN and their ilk scrutinizing the previous president for lying about the numbers. This way of doing business is over, White flatly declared, adding, "We owe the American people as much transparency as possible." The straightforward track that permitted the Obama administration to land at the magic 8,400 number was to not unveil troops sent on temporary status, regardless of them being there to help both U.S. and NATO missions. Because of Obama's despicable face-saving concealment, Fragmented units were often deployed to hold numbers under 8,400, however, that will never again be the situation since legitimate bookkeeping will now be finished. Mattis' decision is a noteworthy repudiation of the dishonest Obama-era policy, which did only lessen our military's combat readiness. Finnish units will now be on ready and arranged for deployment should their numbers be called, without dread of being part-separated for political purposes. This is yet another case of President Zero's lack of interest to our military's needs and the way that all that he did and keeps on doing is tied in with influencing himself to look great. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. HT The Daily Caller. Colossal fraud scandal just erupts. The numbers are mind-boggling. President Trump was right all along. President Donald Trump said from the beginning that voter fraud was a rampant issue in the U.S. He said he'd investigate the issue, and the moment he said it, Democrats went wild. Obviously, this loan implied at the actualities. Not just was the left very much aware of the election fraud, but since it was to a great extent to support them, they needed to imagine it didn't exist. Yet, apparently consistently, we unearth more proof of evident voter fraud, and with each new report, Trump grins only somewhat more. Voter fraud is genuine, and maybe it's nothing unexpected to see the mind-boggling reports originating from Democrat-centric cities and towns. For example, there's the liberal haven known as Chicago, where Mayor Rahm Emanuel has effectively demonstrated he thinks much more about unlawful outsiders than American nationals. However, now we have hard proof of monstrous voter fraud in that city and encompassing ranges. Via Federalist Papers. The Chicago City Wire reports that, more than 14,000 votes were cast in Chicago during the 2016 general election than there were voters to cast them, based on separate figures released by the Chicago Board of Elections, the chairman of the Chicago Republican Party has reported. Chris Cleveland told the Chicago Wire that on a whim, he filed a Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) request with the board, which provided him with a list of 1,101,178 people who voted in the general election. An earlier post on the board's website said that 1,115,664 votes were cast. There should never be more votes than voters, Cleveland said. Every ballot cast should be recorded against a registered voter. That is a splendid insight. Would it say it isn't? How would you get a larger number of votes cast than enlisted voters? Basic. Voter fraud. To exacerbate the situation, Chicago isn't the main ward with this issue. Indeed, this is by all account not the only assortment of voter fraud, either. According to the director of Judicial Watch's Electoral Integrity Project Robert Popper, there are 10 other states that have another kind of discrepancy in their voting rolls. The number of registered voters exceeds the number of voting-age citizens as determined by a review of the population data. Simply don't tell the forces that be in Chicago that another person has concocted another approach to fix the vote. Heads will move over the disappointment of the city's leaders to stay aware of and actualize the most recent developments in voter fraud. Regardless, this qualifies as a ludicrously tremendous issue and one that totally should be settled. Trump was right, and ideally, the number one issue that sicknesses vote-based system will be dispensed with amid Trump's opportunity in office. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. HT The Federalist Papers Project. Guilty as sin. Look who's been indicted on 24 counts of fraud from her charitable foundation. How could she? One more day, another sign that Democrats are lawbreakers. Behind all the ideals flagging and lovely speeches, Democrats are attempting to rob America. They claim they think about helping poor people, working class, and regular Americans. In any case, in truth, They are just in it to profit themselves. We see this over and over, when they back policies and laws that assist their rich donors. Regularly enough, those laws hurt you and me or raise our taxes to shocking heights. All through a year ago we were compelled to look as Democrats got away with a reiteration of violations. DNC Chairwoman Wasserman Schultz was double-crossing her own party to help Hillary Clinton. Donna Brazile, another DNC head, was going a long wrangle about inquiries. Also, obviously Clinton herself had overstepped the law to utilize a private email server. This to conceal the reality she was taking cash from foreign interests in exchange for favors. Presently we are finding out about another persuasive Democrat, who was found cheating kids. This one truly takes the cake. Via Free Beacon. Prosecutors wrapped up their closing arguments Monday in the tax evasion and fraud trial of the former Democratic Representative Corinne Brown, Florida, by telling the jurors the evidence overwhelmingly shows that Brown used her charitable organization to illegally benefit herself and staffers. The prosecution added that Brown's actions effectively led to the needy children being abandoned for scholarships. The real victims are all those worthy kids who could have gotten scholarships, who needed a leg up. That's who she's robbed from, those kids, Eric G. Olshan, one of the prosecutors, said during the one-hour closing arguments against Brown, Jacksonville.com reported. Brown's purported charity should be fundraising for understudy grants. It should enable poor children to get into school. Rather, out of the $800,000 raised, just $1,200 went to help the students. Where did all the cash go? At any rate, $200,000 of it went towards NFL tickets, extravagance excursions, plane tickets, auto repairs, and rich occasions. For the foundation's staff. The rest? Who knows? This is a nauseating misuse of trust. However, it is ideal out of the left's playbook. For quite a long time the Clintons have been funneling money into their pockets through their foundation. Yet they have not been raised on charges since they either have the correct associations in government or know how to conceal it. Brown wasn't as cunning and got roasted. In any case, what number of more wolves do we have among the sheep? What number of purported leaders are tricking the American public? What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. HT Free Beacon.